Good Monday evening, South Carolina Weather Watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and let's go in and talk about the weather for your Monday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to go on and talk about tonight weather-wise, and it's going to be pretty much talking about how tame the rest of the week is going to be, and especially as we get into, I'd say honestly, the middle parts of the week, maybe even going into a bit of the end of the week. We'll talk about all of that. But what is on tap? Well, we will be talking about a strong high pressure dominates with mostly dry conditions this week. Temperatures run near or slightly below normal through midweek, and then also increased fire weather concerns develop through midweek due to very dry air. And then temperatures begin a gradual rebound toward the end of the week into next weekend. So all of that we're going to go on and talk about. But first, before we get into that, if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Right now we have around a good 4 people in here and 3 likes, so almost everybody has hit it. Also hit the subscribe button. We're at 726, trying to get to 800, and then share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, people that you don't even talk to regularly, because it's free and you can share unlimitedly. That will not be taking a dime nor a penny from your bank account if you do one of those 3 things. Now, we're going to talk about current conditions first, and currently, right now, there is nothing really going on throughout the entire state of South Carolina. I mean, you can see some little light green spots down here, Allendale, McClellanville, North Santee. But for the most part, everything else is kind of gray or just not colored in at all, meaning that we are good in terms of rainfall activity. Now, what's going on in terms of our winter weather radar, which pretty much covers everything from rain to snow, and it covers the entire U.S.? Well, we do have some rainfall going on down here in Georgia, Florida. We also have some rainfall going on in Arizona, New Mexico, rainfall in South Dakota, Iowa, Nebraska, Illinois, and rainfall also over here in New York, as well as Pennsylvania, some snowfall in Michigan, and then maybe some isolated snow flurries, snow showers up there in Maine, but everybody else is looking pretty clear. I mean, we have this area over here that includes like Virginia, North Carolina, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama looking pretty good. Also over here in California, we have some areas also over here looking pretty good. Now, if we go in and look at our cloud cover, for the most part, everybody is covered with clouds. That's not too much of a shocker as that low pressure passed us. It still has some cloud cover with it, so definitely we still have to watch out for this, and that will continue even into tomorrow. And if we go in and look at the cloud cover for the future, as we go in and push this forward, this goes all the way through 11 p.m., going all the way to 3 o'clock in the morning. Here's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, and we are still covered with cloud cover by the time we get into tomorrow. Now, once we get into around 11 o'clock in the morning, you're starting to see more of a decrease in cloud cover from the very far upstate. That will continue to move its way down towards the south and east, clearing us out. But for right now, most of us are still covered by noon tomorrow, with the upstate receiving some of that clearing. Now, once we get into around 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., cloud cover continuing to move its way down towards the south and east. We do have some clearing again, now moving on in the Midlands now. Here we go. And then by the time we get to around 7, 8 p.m. tomorrow night, now we're talking about cloud cover really just in the eastern low country, like the Tri-County area, going on in the Grand Strand and the PD areas as well. Now, once we move into around 11 p.m. to 12 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, not tonight, but tomorrow night, we're talking about clear conditions and definitely a nice night overall as you move into Tuesday night. But don't worry, some cloud cover will be back. Cloud cover will be coming back by the time we get into Wednesday during the morning and the afternoon hours. Now, in terms of our current temperatures, we have around 59 in Somerville, 61 in Charleston, as well as 62 in Beaufort, 63 Hilton Head Island, as well as 59 in Orangeburg, 62 Columbia, 61 in Aiken, 59 Newberry, and 58 in Greenwood, 58 Lawrence, 60 Greenville, 62 Clemson, 59 Anderson, 58 in Spartanburg and York, as well as Rock Hill and Lancaster, 60 in Hartsville, as well as 59 in Florence, Bennettsville, 59 in Conway, and 61 in Myrtle Beach, 60 Murrells Inlet, and 59 in Georgetown. Air quality, we do have a little area of a moderate going on over inside of the Tri-County area, maybe even the eastern parts of Colleton counties. But for the most part, down there in like the North Charleston, the Charleston area along the beaches, the Somerville area, the Latson area, the Lincolnville areas, all those areas have a little risk in terms of moderate air quality. It's not terrible, definitely, nothing that you should cancel plans for, anything like that. But we do, in fact, have just good conditions everywhere else, just except for that little area. Now, what about for our low temperatures for tonight? Low temperatures tonight, 48 in Greenville, as well as 47 in Spartanburg, 47 Rock Hill, as well as Anderson, Lawrence, 48 in Newberry, and 49 in Winsboro, 49 Camden, and 50 in Columbia, Aiken, Barnwell at 50, 50 Sumter, as well as 50 in Florence, 48 Kingstree, and 52 in Moncks Corner, 57 in Charleston, and 60 in Hilton Head Island, 52 Georgetown, and 54 in Myrtle Beach. High temperatures for tomorrow, 72 all the way from Spartanburg down to Anderson, Greenville, 71 in Lawrence, Newberry, 73 in Columbia, and 70 in Sumter, 70 Florence, and 69 in Dillon, 68 in Myrtle Beach, and 70 in Moncks Corner, Charleston, 70 Walterboro, and Hilton Head Island, as well as 72 in Orangeburg and Barnwell. Rainfall is not expected as we go into tonight and also tomorrow into tomorrow night, so no rain gear is needed. Leave that at home. Now for the crazy score. If you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how active our conditions are throughout the entire state of South Carolina. And this really just goes for tonight. And we're at a 12. Why? Well, for the most part, it's mainly because, yes, we do have some cloudy conditions still, but winds are going to be less breezy from earlier today. It's going to be a lot more calmer. Still no major concerns, no significant weather, no fog, no frost. Nothing like that we're expecting. Also, dry air, so it's not going to be as muggy tonight. That also kind of aids in. And yeah, it's going to be a bit cooler than average, but for the most part, calm. We're not expecting anything significant for tonight. For the SPC outlook for tonight, no thunderstorms are expected tonight, tomorrow, or Wednesday, so thunderstorms are out of the picture. For fire weather, we're going to start off on Tuesday, even though I know we're not technically included in the risk for tomorrow. Tomorrow, there is an elevated risk that is really close to the state line of South Carolina and Georgia. And for right now, we are only just looking at this because this could definitely expand into the state by the time we get into tomorrow. We'll talk about this tomorrow morning and see if it's really there or not. But for right now, we can see for sure that there definitely is a risk, down there, southern Georgia, southeastern Georgia, that could spread its way over to us. And like the thunderstorm risk, just because it's not highlighted does not mean that it cannot, be still pretty dangerous fire conditions. And so it's not highlighted, but, we still have dry conditions. The winds may not be completely there, but we still have dry conditions going on throughout the state due to that cold front. And we'll look at the humidity levels and we'll look at the dew points and all that kind of stuff. And we'll see, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in terms of those levels. But for right now, it's looking like that we are really just looking at a dry environment, not only for tomorrow, but also just as we go into Wednesday, going into maybe Thursday, but for right now, it's really just Tuesday and Wednesday that they're really talking about and really hammering down on in terms of our dry risk. Now, if we do also talk about the day 3 outlook, because this right here is day 2, this is Tuesday. What about day 3, Wednesday? Wednesday, you can see that fire weather risk now at a 40 to a 69% chance of critical conditions over there in Aiken, over there in Allendale, over there inside of, I think, McCormick, as well as also included in there, looking at Barnwell, looking at over there near Hampton, Still. So these areas are included in a little fire weather risk by the time we get into Wednesday, April the 8th of 2026. And we'll keep an eye out on that as we continue to go throughout tomorrow and Wednesday. But if you have anything that you're going to try and burn tomorrow and Wednesday, especially Wednesday, make sure that you are aware, make sure that you are being careful with it. Even if you're not in the risk itself, there are still dry conditions out there. So make sure that you are aware and making sure that you are paying attention. Now, in terms of excessive rainfall, no excessive rainfall is expected, so we're good here. You don't have to worry about any sort of flash flooding or any sort of flooding. So let's go in and look at the models. We're going to start off here at 9 o'clock p.m. and, we're going to get into the humidity levels after this. But for right now, just going on and talking about the convection, just showing you how dry it is. No rainfall tonight, tomorrow night, Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, no rainfall. So it's continuing to stay dry as we continue out the next 48 hours or so. So we're not going to see any relief, not only for the fire conditions tomorrow and Wednesday, but also for the drought. Now, we did get a bunch of rainfall this weekend. For some areas did at least. Some areas may not have seen as much, but some areas definitely did get a lot. I was one of those. We got around 0.99 inches of rainfall yesterday. So we definitely did get a good amount. Now, did everybody around us get that much? No. But a good amount of us definitely got some good rainfall this weekend. And so we'll go on and, once Thursday comes along, we'll talk about that. But for right now, no rainfall as we go into the next 48 hours. And that's why I was saying this weekend or last weekend that you really had to be banking on that rainfall for this weekend, for last weekend, because if you did not get rainfall last weekend, there's a good chance that you weren't going to see any again this week. So hopefully all of us here got some rainfall this weekend, hopefully, because if you didn't, some bad news for you, as you probably won't see any rainfall for the rest of the week. Unless you're near the coastal areas, that may be a bit of a different story. Now, if we go on and look at the conditions, this is for today. This was earlier today, 5 p.m. Look at how dry it was. I mean, humidity values down into the teens. I mean, it was dry today. Now, if you go into Tuesday night, things start to moisten up a little bit. But as you get into, that was tonight. Tonight, things start to moisten up. But as you get into Tuesday during the day, we're back into the teens. We're back into the 20s for our humidity levels. So it's going to be dry again. And not only that, but as we get into Wednesday, look at this, Wednesday dropping back down into the 20s and the teens again. So these dry conditions are going to continue to stay with us here, and you can actually see it model-wise now. So what about for the long-term future? So after Tuesday, after Wednesday afternoon or so, what are we looking at? Well, you're seeing very much a lack of rainfall as we get into Wednesday, and even as we go into Thursday, Friday, a lack of rainfall indeed. Even as you go into this weekend, you're not seeing any rainfall at all. You go into Monday of next week, still dry. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we finally see some rainfall then, and it's not a lot. So how much rainfall are we even going to see? Just if we push this all the way forward to 384 hours out, which is almost 400 hours, how much rainfall does this deterministic model even say we're going to get? I mean, some areas, it shows not even a drop. Now, I know it's 300 to 400 hours out, so things will change here. But if this does not show you that we are not going to get a whole lot of rainfall as we continue throughout the rest of April, like going into late April, I don't know what will. I mean, we have some areas, again, like I said, not getting a drop. We have some areas only getting a tenth of an inch, a quarter of an inch. I think that's the most I see is 0.35. That's the most amount of rainfall I see. Now, this is a deterministic. So deterministics don't tell the full story. It's one individual member. Let's go ahead and check out what the ensemble has to say. Well, the ensemble, if we go in and look at the total, for the most part, the ensemble has a bit more of a different story. Ensemble definitely has a bit more of a different story. It has us getting definitely some more rainfall by the time we get into like the middle to late part of April. But again, that's 300 to 400 hours out, so that's going to change as well, and it is an ensemble, but it does show us getting a bunch more rainfall than what we would originally see on the deterministic. So that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. I'd rather see this on the ensembles than the deterministic. Now, let me see if the European model has this. It does. The European model, let's go and look at the 12Z real quick. The European model definitely has a lot less, only around 0.3, 0.5. I see some 0.25. So, European model is a bit more on the downer side as well. So, GFS says higher, European model says lower, and so we're ranging around that 0.3 to around that 0.9 range or so. Let me see, is there anything else? You could look at the AI model, the Euro AI model. This one shows a little bit more, around a half an inch as the majority, or as the max probably, or maybe 0.7 as the max. We look at the Canadian model. The Canadian model, again, around 0.5, being the max. So the GFS may be a little bit more of maybe a kind of like a upper in terms of the other types of models that we have here. So we'll see what happens with this as we continue throughout the next 300 to 400 hours. But definitely, if the GFS does verify, that's going to be good news. But if a model like the European or the Canadian verifies, where they're showing not much rainfall at all, maybe half an inch at most for the next 300 to 400 hours, we're going to have some major problems in terms of the drought. And, we'll get to that once we get there. But that's all that I have to say in terms of the convection. What about temperatures? Because temperatures are also very much important as well, not only rainfall. But as we continue throughout the majority of this week, you're going to see cooler temperatures continuing as we go all the way through Wednesday, as you go into Thursday, Friday. And Friday, when Friday comes along, things look a little bit warmer than average, where we're trying to get more just average in general. Saturday, here's 11 a.m., going into around 5 p.m., and going on all the way to Sunday as well. And you can definitely see temperatures starting to definitely rise back up into that 10-degree above average marks by the time we get into this weekend. Now, as we continue into the week after, you can still see we're still warmer than average, but especially as we get into midweek. I mean, we're seeing 15 degrees above average, maybe even a little bit more. I see 20 degrees above average. But what do you see to the north? You see some cold air, but it doesn't quite infiltrate us as much as we thought. If you were here about a couple of days ago, we were talking about a huge cold front potentially moving through as we got into the week after next week. And now we're not really seeing it anymore. So maybe the models are kind of getting away from it, which if you're a warm weather fan, that's a good sign. If you are a cool weather fan, maybe not the best. But this is your week anyway, if you're a cool weather fan anyway. Now, if we go on and look at the actual temperatures, not anomalies instead, going on all the way to Tuesday, you can see temperatures, in the 60s, 70s. You go into Wednesday, temperatures now in the 60s. I mean, only in the 60s. I mean, we're not talking about any 70s, only 60s. We continue into Thursday, into the 70s we go. Friday, we're getting up into the 70s still, maybe even the mid-70s. Saturday comes along, and look, we have some 80s coming back. Sunday, we have some more 80s coming back. Then by the time we get into Monday, still some 80s. Tuesday, we may be even trying to get into the high 80s. And then look at Wednesday. Wednesday, we're looking at potential 90s. Still, it's still here. So even though we've been talking about 90s for the past couple of days, and I've been saying, oh, well, this could definitely go away. This could definitely go away. It has not went away yet. And so if you want this, you still have hope to hang on for as we get into next week, like midweek. So that's Wednesday. And that's going to bring us up into like April the 15th. So we'll see what happens as we get into that time frame. Low temperatures only going down into maybe the mid 60s for the most part. But one thing that you do want to look at as well, if you want to see if those 90s are possible, let's go and look at the ensembles and see, does the ensembles have those temperatures getting up into like the 70, like the high 70s, the low 80s? That's something that you may want to look for, and it sure does. I mean, we have some high 70s going on here inside of the state. I even see a little 80 right there. So, in terms of the mean, the fact that it's all the way up into the 80s, that's a good sign right there if you want to see some 90s. And we see widespread 80s according to the ensembles by the time we get into that Tuesday. And then Wednesday, really widespread 80s. So the fact that that's on the ensembles, and remember, the ensemble, that's a full-on group of models. It's not just one member. This is a full group. And so the fact that most of them are averaging out to around 80, that's a good sign right there if you want to see high temperatures up into the 90s. Now, if we get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, things will definitely start to calm down. But still, warm temperatures are still possible, even as we continue throughout the rest of the middle to late part of April. And that's all that I have to say here in terms of our temperatures. So let's go on and make sure we got everything covered. I think that we did. Yes. Temperatures begin a gradual rebound toward the end of the week into next weekend. So, yes, that's what we just discussed. So, let's go on and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off with my Aunt Lewis. She was here first tonight. She says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a great day. Well, I did. Thank you so much for asking. And then my Aunt Lewis says, hopefully everyone had a wonderful day. I did. Today in Georgetown, it was chilly, but it was bearable. Our high was around 64. Currently, it's 57. Well, for right now, where I am, it is currently, I put it to the map by accident. It's currently around a good 56. And then the high temperature for today was around 67. So it's around maybe a little bit warmer than where you were, but not by much at all. And it was pretty much, yeah, chilly today as well. Continue our way down. Mr. Chris says, only got to around 64 today, a little cool. He also says, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free and it helps the channel grow. Absolutely. Right now we have around a good 14 people tuned in and only 5 likes. So if you're a part of that group of 9, that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. It's free and you can share unlimitedly. So you don't have to go on and pay for anything. I'm not going to take a dime out of your account. It's going to be completely free, and it like helping a channel for free, helping a weather channel get more weather information out for free. I mean, that's one of the best things that you could do right there. So honestly, if I was you, I definitely would do it. Mr. Chris says currently it's around 58 degrees, was partly cloudy and a little breezy. Only partly cloudy. Well, I mean, honestly, where I was, it was cloudy all day. I didn't see too much sunshine at all today, and it's probably going to be the same tomorrow. Milo says a little sunny but chilly. Trail says, greetings everyone, greetings to you. Milo says, all in all, it was a nice day. Mr. Chris says, same here, could definitely use some sunshine here. Well, don't know if you'll see it tomorrow, but definitely could see it as you potentially get into Wednesday. As most of that cloud cover is going to continue into tomorrow. Mr. Chris says, one of my neighbors does a lot of burning through the week and it gets very smoky near me. Could that affect the air quality? Absolutely. Smoke could 100% affect the air quality. So if, they do so much burning to where the fact that it's like covering up, a good amount of the area, then yeah, that could add on to the map a little bit. So yes, 100%. Smoke 100% adds to that air quality index. Mount Lewis says, wow, I can't imagine that's not good. Absolutely not. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you as well. And that's all that I can see here. Let's go on and now talk about the 4 areas outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 areas outside of South Carolina. What am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 4 areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And because they tune in almost nightly, we're going to give them their weather forecast for them. Starting off with San Antonio first. You have low temperatures tonight at 50, high temperature for tomorrow at 76, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 55. Now, in terms of precipitation not expected for tonight or tomorrow. In terms of your severe weather, excessive rainfall, none of that's expected for you either, so you are good to go. Now, in terms of your future, rainfall potentially possible on Thursday and Friday. And then as you get into the weekend as well, Saturday all the way through next week, Monday, looking like that it could be active. Definitely could be active for you. Now, in terms of your temperatures are going to continue to kind of go up. You're seeing 83 on Thursday, 80 on Friday, Saturday, 81, 82 on Sunday, 85 going into next week, Monday. So temperatures are definitely going to continue to rise as you go into next week. Now for Raleigh, you have low temperatures tonight at 46, high temperature for tomorrow at 68, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 36. Precipitation not expected. In fact, no precipitation for the next 7 days. So you're good. You might see some slightly breezy conditions tomorrow night and Wednesday, but for the most part, it's going to continue to stay in the 20s, like low 20s. In terms of your temperatures for the future, temperatures will continue to stay in the 70s, and then by the time you get to this weekend, all the way up into the 80s. So it's going to continue to go up and up more and more as you get into this weekend. For Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at 42, high temperature for tomorrow at 54, low temperatures tomorrow night at 31. It will be a bit breezy tomorrow, And tomorrow night, wind gusts of up to 31, 30-ish miles per hour possible. And in terms of your future, in terms of severe weather, excessive rainfall, by the way, for both areas, they don't have any. But for Philadelphia, in terms of your future, no rainfall is expected in general. Same thing with Raleigh. And then in terms of your future for your temperatures are going to continue to stay in the 50s for the majority of the week. Friday comes along, get up into the 60s. Saturday, 70s. Sunday, back down to the 60s a little bit. But next week, Monday, trying to get into the 80s a little bit. And then finally for Duncan, Oklahoma, low temperatures tonight at 44, high temperature for tomorrow at 70, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 49. Precipitation not expected until around Friday. Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Overall, you're looking at a pretty active weekend as you go into this weekend, and temperature-wise, you're going to continue to kind of rise up into the 80s, and you may try to go back down to the 70s for a couple of days this weekend, but for the most part, Monday, you're right back up into the 80s. You do have an area of severe weather, though, Sunday. Showers and thunderstorms likely, and some of those storms could potentially be severe. Right now, it's a 15 to a 29% probability of severe weather on Sunday, so make sure that you are aware. I know that's still a long ways out, and the fact that they are that confident this far out means that they're pretty serious on it. And the fact that, even though models are very inconsistent during this time frame, there's a lot of confidence going into it this early. So make sure that you are aware. Make sure you have a weather plan in place, your severe weather plan in place, just in case if something does happen there. And in terms of the exact hazards, obviously it's way too far out to talk about exact hazards. And if it's going to be tornadoes, is it going to be damaging winds? All of that is still on the table for right now. But for right now, I don't think that they have mentioned. Yeah, they haven't mentioned any sort of. They haven't mentioned any sort of exact hazards at all. Now, in terms of, I think that's it. I think that's it for the 4 areas. Yeah, that is. So, nothing else for me to say there. So let's go on and see what's going on right now throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise. That does include South Carolina. That does include the 4 areas that we just talked about. And so, from the National Weather Service, they say a cold front lingering over Florida will continue to bring showers and thunderstorms to the state over the next couple of days. Heavy rainfall and flash flooding are possible along the east coast of Florida. And then also, you remember the Kona low that we had over there in Hawaii that was bringing them that huge flooding event? Well, there is another one expected to bring strong winds, widespread heavy rainfall, and flooding to the Hawaiian Islands Tuesday all the way through into this weekend. So they got a long ways to go and another flooding event for them over there. There is also some freezing that will occur tonight. Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, parts of Kentucky, parts of Virginia. And then, not tonight, but tomorrow night, Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, as well again. Gonna receive some freezing temperatures. Luckily for us, down here in South Carolina, we're not expected to see any freezing temperatures. There also will be some fire weather concerns in southwestern Kansas, southeastern Colorado, and then some high winds going on in central Montana into western Montana. And that's all that I can see here throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise. Do I have anything sent to my email? I do not, so that is all there. And then let me check out the chat. Mr. Chris says, everyone please remember to stay safe and warm and hydrated. Going to be cool, absolutely. It's going to absolutely continue to stay cool as we go into the rest of the week. Until around like Friday or so, the things will start to warm back up again. But I think that's all that I have to say here. Top fans of the night for tonight, before I forget that. Let me go ahead and count them up real quick. I see, let me move this out the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. Wow, very close, but Mr. Chris got it tonight. Mount Lou's at number 2. And then Trail's at number 3. So congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fans, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock early. Also being a subscriber, because if you're not a subscriber, you can't talk. And then also being active. Being active helps us out and helps you out to get you to that top spot. So let's go on and give them a round of applause. And that's all I have to say for tonight. Make sure hit the subscribe button. We're at 726, trying to get to 800. Also hit the share button. Share with your friends, your family members, and your acquaintances, people that you don't even talk to regularly. You can even share it to somebody who you met today while you were at KFC getting some lunch for today. It doesn't matter. Anywhere. You can just go on and send it out. That, and then also go on and hit the like button as well. That's all. I'll be back tomorrow morning with your Tuesday morning forecast update, and then also tomorrow evening with your Tuesday evening forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Monday. Make sure you hit those 2 buttons before you leave.